the Unreal Engine. So we're gonna go to games because we want to pick game template. Um, None of these again actually change anything about the engine. I can 100% pick motion design and still make a game. It's just not going to be helpful. So we're going to go with third person because I do want to have a character, and I don't want to necessarily be like in a top down or vehicle or anything like that. So we're gonna pick our third person guy, blueprints, desktop. Um, I'm gonna leave mine on maximum. If you want to select scalable because you have a lower end machine or you're using a laptop or whatever, you can 100% do that. It just gives you the options at the top of the screen for like scaling down the visuals to give you better performance.
Yeah.
If you leave it on maximum, you can still do that. You just have to go to settings. If you do scalable, it'll just be an option at the top of the screen on your little hotbar.
Right.
Starter content, again, we can turn that on and off. Um, Project path is where it's going to be saved, and then the name of the project, we'll go ahead and call this 2D. And then I'm going to hit create and move about.
Nice. Who's ready for such power?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
So this time we're starting with an actual template. If I hit play, I already have a character. I can already run around. He already jumps. Like this is just built in. I don't have to do anything else. Um, the way the skeletal mesh based characters work is they are multiple pieces. So I have my actual blueprint here, which is the class that is spawned into the level. So this is just like our pawn, where we have our input mapping stuff, and we have some code, and then over here in the viewport we have our character setup. Um, the skeletal mesh that we're using has the skeletal mesh, the skeleton, the animation blueprint. Uh, there could be like an IK rig attached to it. There's a whole bunch of pieces that go along with skeletal meshes. We're not going to dig too much into that. We'll talk about it a little bit, but for the most part, just be aware that this is not just a singular piece. Um, and that's why we can like share animations and just do stuff like that. Physics, ragdolls, things like that. So the way this guy works is they have a character movement component. The character movement component is, last I checked, like 3,300 lines in C++.
Hmm.
And it's tied very closely to the actual character class. So all the movement in total is like 5,000 lines.
Whoa.
This handles gravity, acceleration, jumping, crouching, swimming, flying, all that stuff. Everything that you could possibly want to mess with is over here in the details panel. Jump height, how much control I have while in the air. Should I use all of my axes movement when I jump, or should I only count forwards, backwards? You can do a whole bunch of stuff.
I've got a question. 5,000 lines. How long will that take you to do?
To write?
Yeah.
Like if I was just copying it?
No, just writing
hour?
it. Yeah, writing this whole system from scratch.
Um, so probably quite a while.
Okay.
The I would like you don't want to approach it like that where you're like, okay, I have to write these 5,000 lines. It would be more along the lines of like, okay, I need my character to move forward when I push a button, or I need them to move backwards when I push a button. and then I can set that up. And then like I need the jump, so I need to set up that.
Okay.
I don't want off the edge.
Oh, so all right, it's piece by piece. Okay.
Yeah. And then since they all since they're all part of the movement of the character, they get encapsulated in the character movement component.
You guys,
So-
I'm trying to hear for myself. All right. Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah. Anyway, so when we go to actually move this character, we are not doing any of the math ourselves. The pawn class has an add movement input node. It wants to know what direction you're going and like what the input is in that direction. So 1 is I'm moving fully, I'm moving full speed in that direction. 0.5 is I'm moving half speed in that direction. 0 is I'm not moving at all. And then negatives obviously would be backwards. All of your acceleration, braking, all that stuff is handled by the movement component, and the movement component is listening for the add movement input function call. So this is just automatically hearing that you did this and handling it for you. So if you want to change how fast you're moving or how high you jump, any of that stuff will be done over here. You will not manually do the math. Okay? That's why we didn't start with this, because if we did, you wouldn't know how it actually works. This is using the control rotation right now. We're going to not do that because we're going to do a side scroller. We're going to really just move in one direction. Well, on one axis anyway, and then we'll jump and go to the second axis.
Yeah.
Camera input, I don't need at all because we're not doing that. So I'm just going to get rid of it entirely, and now the camera won't move. It'll follow me, but it won't, like I can't spin.
Okay.
So we do need to make sure that this is going to be at the correct angle initially. So I want 90. Why did you not understand? Oh, I know why. Consider. So over here in the settings of the spring arm, they named it camera boom, but it's spring arm. The checkbox is here for camera settings. If you turn it off, use pawn control rotation, then you will now have access to twist. So when you turn this on, it's using the control rotation variable that's stored on the player controller. That way you have a separate rotation that you can hold from from this actual actor's rotation, so that you can spin the camera separate. We don't want to do that, so we're going to just do this. We're probably going to actually move this off into a separate actor just because, but for now we'll leave it like this. Also, because we want this to be orthographic, I'm going to click on the camera itself, and here where it says perspective, under the camera settings, I'm going to switch this to orthographic. And then I can set the width right here. I'm going to leave this, we'll say 1080 for now, and we'll come back to it if I don't like that. So now that we got this, let's go ahead and hit play and see what happens.
All right.
Oh snap! Now, we still have a problem with that, but it is in the orthographic view, which I wanted, and I don't have any control of the camera correct. Couple other things, we need to click on character movements and come over here and type in Orion. Yeah. This is what rotates your character mesh based on the direction you're moving. I want to turn this off because I don't want the character to run. Actually, we'll leave this off for now. I want to see what else I'm. Yeah, because I'm leave that on for just for this moment. Because I do kind of want him to turn back and forth when we go back and forth. Uh, on. Nobody's using any of the control rotation stuff. That's good. Why are we still? We'll turn that off. Okay. Or turn this in. Okay, there we go. I like it. All right. So now we don't rotate. So just make sure you turn on the camera boom. Make sure you just turn off all of the camera settings stuff. Um, so now we have our dude, and we only want him to move in one direction. And that's going to be forward based on the world because we're going to set this up to be a 2D thing in the level. One second. All right. So down here in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see we have Z is up and X is to the left. Or my bad, it's pointing to the right. So this will be the direction that I want to have everything set up, and this is the direction he's currently, you know, at, basically. So we're going to just kind of hard code this. So in here, I'm going to get rid of these because I don't care. And I'm going to get rid of this because I don't care. What this is doing is basically just figuring out which direction the camera was facing and then using that for forward, backward, left, and right. We're again not doing that. I'm just going to uh, yeah. I don't care about that. I'm just going to go ahead and do the world space. So we're going to put a 1 in here. So this is positive on X in the direction that I'm always telling it, and then the scale will be either 1 or -1 to let me know if I'm actually going that way or the opposite. So now if I hit compile and save and we hit play, because I'm stupid, that's why. So triggered has to be going into here, otherwise nothing happens, just like with what was happening right there. So now that I've told it to actually do the thing,
Nice.
and I'm actually going to switch this just because right now this is running off of W and S, and I want this to actually run off of uh, A and D instead. So file, save, nice. And then come back here and let's try it again, just make sure. Yep, E goes forward, A goes back. All right, cool. So now that we have that set up, basically the whole game, like the whole thing from here on out is going to be setting up the level so that, and, and all of the things so that they line up with our dude and do what we want them to do. So does anybody have any questions so far about how this is set up? Or like how any of these pieces work?
I assume all this is way more code than we're actually using. That would be my assumption. Like the 5,000 lines of code, we're using maybe like much less of it.
Oh, yeah. So
But see, here's the question I've got.
compliance encompasses everything from literally like flying, jumping, swimming,
Yeah.
crouching, um, like adjusting your capsule when you crouch,
Mm.
so that it's the new height. Uh, there's settings for whether or not you should like be able to walk off ledges or not. There's a whole bunch of stuff that it does for you. you're not using most of it, and you really never will on a single character. Um, if you were gonna do something like serious, uh, then you would probably write your own. Like especially if you're gonna do multiplayer, you would have to do serious like modifications to it to get it to run well enough to do like
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
So the difference between the input action and the mapping context is the action is the individual thing you're doing. So jump, move, look, attack, roll, like the actual thing. The context is the setting in which it's or like the set of actions that are currently available or are given in like are put in this room. So the like my general example is I would have a different context mapping if I was doing like Grand Theft Auto or when I was in a car versus when I was running on the street versus when I had the menu open and I was playing around with menus. Because when I press A on my controller, I want A to do something different in each of those contexts. So I would have a like select input action that would be mapped to the A button, and I would have that be active in the menu uh, you know context map. So then I can turn that on and off when I wanted, and then it would catch me pushing A and then fire that action as opposed to something else. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. Um, you like so the same action can be in different contexts, and you can actually have the same input fire different actions, and then like there could be priority systems and stuff, but it's essentially just a way of giving you a hierarchy of like when I push this button, I want this thing to happen depending on the context that I have active. Is all it is.
Oh, yeah, okay. You have a, where are you?
I'm not in.
What do you need then?
I don't have movement when I hit A or B.
Oh, snap. Let's just do this first and we'll come back to the question at the end. We'll have to do that. He had a question. He can't, there's no movement when you hit A and D. Do you want to answer that after, or do you want to do what you're going to do today?
So wait, like his looks just like mine does here.
All right, show your screen.
I'm not. That's okay.
Is that one of those protein drinks? Like, it doesn't look like an energy drink.
Yeah, nah. This is my lunch.
Yeah. Zoom, right? Yeah, he's getting into Zoom. I'll show you. Yeah, all right, cool. It's bio. Here's who we got today. Missing a bunch. Yeah, see that? They're here. They're the true Unreal fans. Matt Watson fans. All right. So there's a bottom, like the bottom. There's a green button on the bottom. There we go. Okay.
Alright, so you see where it says world direction and it's all zeros? You didn't tell it which way to go. So if you put a one in X, that means you want it to go positive on the X axis if you get a positive value from your input. Yep. And then now it should work.
Dirty. I haven't seen dirty needs to be recompiled. I haven't.
That happens every time you touch anything. You have to use an extra quick compile
But it won't compile. It won't let them compile. Dirty needs to be. I haven't seen the word dirty before.
Right, it's on that. It's not doing anything.
No. Yeah, so clicking doesn't do anything. It won't compile.
Computer frozen? No. Why is that? Yeah, like that, it says it on mine every time I do anything too. It's like that's just what it says every time. I mean, like, go ahead and try getting hit play anyway. We'll see what happens. It should compile automatic. So it's frozen.
Yeah, you're got the fan going. Must be got going. All right. Well, see. Oh, Zoom. Snap. I never seen that before.
Yeah.
All right. It was a Zoom issue, I guess.
I got it. But now it's working. So. All right. Perfect. Okay. So, like I mentioned before, so now we have our character, and they move around and do stuff. So yeah. Um. So I want to go ahead and get this set up a little bit just to be like something I can work with. We're going to go ahead and fill that wall. Then keep this one because I don't want him to run off the edge. And everything's going to get shrunken up just a little bit. No way. All the stuff. Well, fine. Yay. So now we got a 2D side scroller.
Nice.
All right. So the next thing we want to do is we want to start setting up our core loop for this. All platforms are basically collect stuff and get to the end. So we're going to make a collectible and we're going to make an endpoint. Will be our first two things, and then we'll add enemies and checkpoints and doors and maybe a key, and then we'll do level design stuff.
That's a lot.
I mean, kind of, but we are like all of our basic stuff is already set up.
Yeah. Okay.
So like we have to skip the first hour and a half of the last one. So I'm gonna go here to content. I'm gonna go ahead and make a new folder. It's gonna be my platformer folder. And so first thing I want to do is we're gonna make a collectible. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and make this an actor class. This is gonna be my base pickup underscore BP. And the reason I'm naming this base is because I'm never gonna actually use this one. This is gonna be my template for the other ones. So we're gonna take advantage of OOP and basically set
Nice.
up like, the hierarchy for the children and the parents.
That's cool. Using object-oriented programming in Blueprints. Blueprint.
Yep. So basically, I just need this to have some sort of collision, and I need this to do something when it bumps into that collision. So first thing, I'm gonna go ahead in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a sphere collision, and we'll go ahead and just pop that right there, pile save, and then I'm gonna go over here to the event graph, and nothing on begin play, nothing nothing. When something overlaps this sphere, I'm going to check and see if this was my character, basically. So, pass to third person character. I can even make this more likely because I can come in here to my collisions, and instead of overlapping everything that's dynamic, I'm going to go down here to pawn, and I'm going to only overlap pawns. My bad. I don't want that. I want custom. You're going to all be ignored, and I'm going to only overlap pawns. Compile save. So now this circle will let everything go through it, but it will not react to anything except for a pawn type object. My character here, if I come on down, is a pawn type object. So my character castle will cause this to go. I might have like pawn type enemies, like AI and stuff. So this is not a guarantee, but it does cut down on like, bullets and other frivolous stuff that I don't care about ever causing, ever tripping us. This is a door that opens or something. The door won't trip it now. So we're gonna check and see, hey, was this my third person character? If it was, I'm going to save the reference. I'm gonna go ahead and rename this to Pointer Ref. And then I'm going to make a new custom event. Nope, that's not the right one. And then this is going to be called Views or Pickup, whatever. Actually, I'll go with Pickup. So then I'm going to go here, call Pickup, and this one is done, at least for now. And the reason is because now any children I make of this will automatically do this part, and then I can override pickup to do whatever I want to do. I can have it, tell the character that you got a key. I can have it open a door. I can have it do any number of things. Give you a power up, whatever. So this is, I'm leaving this wide open and basically setting this up to just, get a hold of the character and then I can do whatever I want. Save, close it for now, close this for now. So now I want to make a child of this class. I can do this by two ways. I can right click here and go to Blueprint Class and click on All Classes and type in pickup. And then it'll find me my base pickup and I can make a Blueprint class this way. Or I can come over here, right click, and the very top option is going to be create child class. And then this will do the exact same thing as what I just did. So, actually, even fancier, we can do one last way. If I were to say make an actor class and call this, I don't know, Pulling pickup. And oh no, it's an active class, so it doesn't inherit from another guy. I can go over here to class settings, pick my parent class and change it after I make the thing. So I can reparent my blueprint. So I can do pickup, and now the parent class is pickup base, and it already has the steer in here. And if I come in here, you'll notice that nothing is different from usual. In order to get this to do what I want, I can either delete it, and then it'll just do whatever the parent class did because I defined nothing else. Or if I want to override it, so if I want to do uh, activate overlap, you can right click and add call to parent function. This is the same thing as calling super in C++. So you're literally just saying, hey, do whatever the parent class did.
What is that
And
super?
that I can go up out.
Like super came out in the like C plus plus version 20 or something. What does that even mean?
It
Super.
just means do what the parent class did.
Do what?
So like when you define when you define a function in a child class,
Yeah.
if you're gonna override or if you're gonna extend the functionality of parent class, you write super.
Okay.
And that basically just means like, hey, like do what the last guy was doing, and then do this extra shit afterwards.
Okay.
So this is right here, same thing, do what the parent class did, and then do extra stuff afterwards.
All right.
Whereas if I did this, forget the parent class, just do this instead, or don't do anything extra, just do what the parent class did.
Okay.
Alright, so we don't want to do anything extra with that one, so I'm gonna leave that gone. I do want to override the pickup, and I can't just type in pickup. Actually, I can. That's nice. Alright, so usually what you'll have to do is if I come over here to the left under functions, go to override. My pickup function is in here in the overrides because it's a function of a class, previous. So click on pickup and boop, there it is. So I'm going to override this function to do something. I also want this one to look like something. I want this one to have a static mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and add a static mesh component. And I'll go ahead and just pick the cube, I guess. Lock that and then say 0.1, so it's a little cube, then 0.3, okay, so that's cube. Don't like you, blue cube, nice. All right, so now I have my little pickup event, and I have my little blue cube, and I want this to just go away for testing purposes. So destroy actor. So now what we'll do is we will pop this here in the level. And then if I hit play, you can run along, and then as soon as I bump into him, it goes away.
All right.
So now we have our basic cube pickup thing. Is anybody confused about any part of how this works?
What are you thinking? Matt, with this training, you're going to single-handedly bring back the 2.5 dimensional platformer.
Well, I mean, if you guys do it isometrically, you get that 2.5D thing. Yeah. A little behind Hammond. I can tell he's talking, but I don't know what he's saying.
Just well, oh, okay, all right. Evan's a little behind. Um, Jordan has a bit of a weird issue. Yeah, we can slow down here if you like.
I mean,
Evan, you want to show your screen?
I'm not gonna detail where we're at. Yeah, so this is the coin blueprint. I'm just, overriding the other one. And then here in the upper left, if I click on that, this will take you to the parent class, and then here is the code for that one.
Yeah, this is Jordan's. Can you enlarge it, Jordan?
Yeah. So go back into your third person character, and then do me a favor, zoom out a little bit. I need to see so come up top here a little bit. So this camera input section needs to go away. And then over here on the left, click on your camera boom for me. Um, you are gonna need a details panel. I don't know where yours went. You can get one back from the window. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so camera boom, turn off all three of these checkboxes right here below, yeah. That one, and the next two down, yeah. Perfect. Go ahead and compile again, and then try that one more time. Oh. Okay, perfect. So last thing we need to do is hit escape. So go back to your third person character for me, the blueprint. And then go back to the viewport for me if you would. And the all right. You probably want to invert, but you probably want to reverse the camera, rotate the camera boom rotation. So instead of 90, make that negative 90. And then do me a favor, and let's go back out to the map real quick. And I just want to see how the character can start is set. So where's the player start? Uh, hey, pro tip, if you click on it and hit F, it'll zoom you up on the thing. So you're currently facing the wall when you spawn in. You want to be facing down the aisle. So go ahead and spin that to that blue arrow. Yeah, like perfect. And then pull that up out of the ground slightly, and it'll stop saying bad size.
Ah,
Yeah. So hit W again. Perfect. So now hit play. You should be able to run around.
fell off.
Perfect. Is there still a wall behind you? I mean, camera spins around their wall the other direction. Okay. Yeah, then you have to get rid of that wall first. Because that the organ on the camera is not at any particular spot really, so it's gonna it'll catch things that are behind you. Um. Wait a minute. Why is that looks strange? Um. Make sure you get rid of the other just props in the scene, but um. So go back to your third person character one more time. I just want to double check so come on down a little bit from right here and come to your movement stuff. Come on up a little bit, slide to the right. One, okay, that's all good. And then if you go to viewport, you're at -90, like you're supposed to be. Um, no, you're not rotating the wrong way. Just make sure you clear out all the rest of the stuff in the level. Because like basically, like I think it's looking through like one of these gray things. Like it literally might even be that text. Like it's yeah, like just get rid of all the like stuff. Just hang out, and then it should look better. So we can put that other back wall back. Oh, if it does look better, if it still looks bad, then we'll check it out. That's all right. I think about Discord after this. We'll take a look at your thing. Let's try it. Does anybody else have any problems with anything?
Who's still following along out of curiosity? Oh, there's a question from Christian
Where?
on the chat. Let me see.
It's all good.
What was the blueprint that was called set?
What would you call that?
Called set.
It's simply the item. You mean this one? Yes.
It's a setter node.
Yeah, this is just I pulled over here and promoted this to a variable, and
Okay.
then that automatically sets it to the yeah. This is just a setter function for this variable, saying hey, make this that variable.
Oh, all right. To promote to a variable, your right mouse button on this thing, and it says promote to variable. You see one? What's pickup? Where did you create that one?
Right here.
Custom event.
So-
Okay.
Yeah. And then in order to make that, you just add custom, and then this will let you define your own custom events. But yeah, so the idea here is that we call, we make this, call it, and then this kind of just sets us up for the future so that anytime we will, walk over this, it saves the player reference and then starts whatever process that we walk over. In this instance, we're just getting rid of it, but we could do something else. Like add to our, add to our inventory or make our character run faster or whatever. All right, so everybody more or less up to speed with what we're doing and where we're at. Or at least like understands.
Yeah, we always record the video too, so that'll help out.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So in this instance, we got a little thing with the crosshair. Boop. I want this. I'm actually gonna. This is gonna be a. Well, it's gonna be a. Not that. The I'm actually renaming this movie on you pick up. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and make a door just really fast because this will sort of really show you how this can interact. So this will be our launch meeting.
Question from Evan: how did you get the parent function in the blueprint?
So parent function in the blueprints for the key, you can either right click and type in events, whatever, pick up blah blah blah, or over here on the left hand side in the override drop down, you can find any of the functions from any of the parent classes and then click and override, and it'll bring them up here. If you're talking about the add call to parent function, you just right click on the node and it'll add a call from parent. Um, you only need to do that though if you actually have this up here. If I don't have it here, then I don't. So remember, boxes, you don't want to scale them, you want to adjust their um, extents. Um, we'll go over timelines and stuff more next time. I'm just gonna real fast do this to kind of give you an example. Do this on 0, 1, make a curve, so it's gonna even it out, so it doesn't look weird. You don't have to like put that in, by the way. You just copy and paste all things. More fun that way. Well, yeah.
Ah, I'm gonna open the door. Yes.
Yeah. Now, this will currently work just whenever I walk into it. Door here. Deep. Okay. Can't tell from this perspective.
Oh, sweet.
Um,
Door is easy.
Yep. Now, the door is not currently working on the key. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that real fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a variable here. This is gonna be my key. And then I'm gonna change this type to be a key pickup. And I'm gonna turn this little eyeball on. I'm gonna grab this, drag it out here and do a get. Right click and convert to validated get. And then if this is not valid, then I'm gonna let it play. So the way this is gonna work is if I click on my door over here, you'll see the detail panel currently says there is no key. If I walk into this currently, then the door will open. So there's no key associated with this door. If I click this little drop down and pick the coin pick up from here, which is actually my key now, or if I click this little eyedropper and pick my little dude there now is a key associated with this. And if I were to run this way and jump that, the door will not open. I pick the key up. Now the door is. Alright.
Nice.
So we can hard code associations with things, or I can just check to see like, hey, was this door given a key at some point? So again, we'll go over the timeline and how that's and how to learn and stuff like that works. But one of the really cool ones is using the validated get to find out like, hey, does this object exist anymore? And if not, then we let it open the door. We could also set this up on end overlap. And then reverse. Again, only if, oh, actually, yeah, I can leave this the way it is. So now when I save and compile and come out here and play, door opens, door closes, door opens again. Okay.
Nice.
Anybody have what?
It's very sweet.
Anybody have any, yeah, anybody have any questions about how this works? Or what, like how we have our this associated with that kind of thing. And then, I can make all kinds of different looking keys. I can even change the way this one looks right here and decide like, oh, you know what, actually you're gonna be a
Yeah. Would it be like hard to use those to like make it like have that effect?
Oh, you mean code? Yeah, I think we have a question. To do this in C++, I know it'd be more performant, but how hard would it be? Assuming you know some C++, but not a whole lot.
So your performance increase on this would be
0.
so nominal that you probably need to do 1,000 of them at once to be able to measure.
Okay.
Simply because the timeline component, which like so this timeline here is actually a separate component. It's the only one that doesn't show the components tab.
Okay.
But if I put this little drop down here, it is it is a component.
Okay.
This is a C++ component. This whole thing runs in C++.
Okay.
And just evaluating current. The rest of this, again, we're not really doing anything, but like this is a C++, this is C++. We're just calling them from here. So not too much.
Hey, before you go, let's change the material. Like, make it a different object besides, the key could be something else. Yeah, just to show that the static mesh on it.
Yeah, well, so, if you click on the, like, if you wanna mess with the one that's actually in the level. So like this one right here, I actually did just mess with, and now it's a ramp instead of, what it was.
Yeah, okay. Does that answer your
And then
question?
I can set this to be a different material here as well, so that we do, our. Yeah, this one. And then, if I were to drag this actually back out to the level, you would just.
How do you get the static mesh in here?
Oh, he's got a question.
Good.
How do you get the static mesh inside the sphere? Like, all right, so you just review that for us.
Yeah, so the sphere is the root component. The static mesh is just another component, so you just put it in so.
I can show you
This
later.
one was super easy actually, because the chamfer cube, the origin point is at the center of the cube, and the sphere, the origin point is at the center of the sphere. So if I just zero out my location, it does just automatically go to the center. If you pick this cube, it'll be offset, and you'll have to kind of just line it up. So I can, go to perspective view and line it up this way. 10's too much. And then go to the front or whatever and make sure that it's. Okay. And then now we have a perspective to the way. But this one you'll see is offset by a little bit. So it just depends on like how the orange is lined up is how easy it is to put it in. But yeah, you just move it. Um, as far as changing materials, if you do it here inside the blueprint, or change the static mesh here inside the blueprint, that will change the ones in the level. So you'll see this one here is now this, because it was a default thing, and now every new one I drag out is going to have this new thing. If I change it here in the level, on the other hand, it's just for this one.
Okay.
So yeah, if I drag a new one out, it doesn't change any other ones. It's still just that one. And then again, you change it the same way as anything else. I can click on this, click on the static mesh component here in the little section at the top, and then adjust the static mesh for the material.
Do you have to go, Matt? It's 2:06.
No, I don't have anything for a little bit after this.
Okay.
That. So you get the normal version, and then if you right click on the normal version, invalid is an option. So if I were to just drag this one out here, get, and then right